Welcome to Arts24. I'm in Cairo for an exclusive look inside one of the most anticipated cultural landmarks in modern history, the Grand Egyptian Museum. It cost $1 billion and took more than 20 years to build, nearly as long as the Great Pyramid itself. Its grand opening has been delayed by revolutions, financial crisis, a pandemic, and wars. This state-of-the-art facility, a mile north of the Great Pyramids of Giza, showcases more than 100,000 artifacts, including the full collection from Tutankhamun's tomb. This isn't just a museum. It's a celebration and reclamation of Egypt's history and culture. The pyramids that adorn the walls are a link between the past and the present. This is ancient Egypt brought back to life. Just inside the entrance, you're greeted by this, one of the museum's showstoppers, a statue of the mighty pharaoh Ramses II. 30 feet tall, weighing more than 80 tons. It's 3,200 years old. Dr. Hanim, hello.
Pleasure meeting you.
What a welcome we get when we arrive here in the museum. Why did you choose to put this as a centerpiece?
Well, it's very dear to all Egyptians, and it's a symbol of power. It's a symbol of great art, and it's very unique. It was the first piece to be transferred to gem, and it's more than 80 tons, which was a challenge in bringing it here. The whole thing, the whole ceiling was put after this piece was put. This king ruled Egypt for more than 66 years, and his era was very, very special in terms of prosperity and power, and that's why it's a nice welcome to all gem visitors.
The world has been waiting a long time for this museum. What does it symbolize for Egypt?
It's a lot of things. First of all, it's, as said by our president, it's Egypt's gift to the world. That's number one. It's a very special gift because no other country can provide such a gift, which combines the past and the future. So you have the great past packaged in a very nice future perspective with the means of technology that are used in order to enhance the experience of visitors. Adding to that, being the gem of museums or the museum of museums, it acts as a scientific hub, as a cultural hub, as a heritage hub, as an educational hub.
Look at the country we live in and what it's accomplishing. There's a real Egyptian museum now. Everything is well organized, technology is available, and the place is modern and very impressive. And it's right in front of the pyramids.
One of the things that stand out most to me was the two statues as you enter the museum of the king and the queen, both at the same height, suggesting that men and women were considered to be equal.
Foreigners will come in and excavate, and they say, okay, we found these things, and then they take those things back to France or back to London and all. And I feel like the Egyptians deserve to have their own history.
It is very important for older civilizations to bring their people into the modern era.
I'm proud that our history goes back 7,000 years.
Just next to the monumental entrance, an architectural marvel, the grand staircase which rises 6 stories high. Going up, you're surrounded by preserved ancient statues of the rulers of ancient Egypt that whisper stories from millennia past. Tell us about this incredible staircase.
It's designed in a special way. That's a journey. It starts with the royal image of the kings and queens at that time, and it then goes to the divine worships and things like this, and then it goes to the kings and gods at the same time, and then it's the journey to eternity. You end up with seeing the Great Pyramids, and it has 59 statues, and it tells a story, a great story of taking you to the journey of how the Egyptians, the old Egyptians, thought of that time, of how the life after birth again will happen.
This was a huge project for Egypt. Tell us about some of the big challenges you faced in bringing this to life.
Well, you're talking about a project that took more than 2 decades. We're talking about the first thing that started in 2002. So you can imagine different type of challenges. The most two important challenges was the financial one. It's a mega project. The second important challenge was bringing the pieces into this museum, restoring it, and saying a story. In terms of size, we're talking about the largest museum in the world, almost twice the Louvre, twice the British Museum, and 5 times the Metropolitan.
Another highlight is this, a breathtaking vantage point with a direct line of sight to the Giza pyramids. Surely one of the best man-made views on the planet. There is perhaps no institution on Earth whose opening has been as wildly anticipated or delayed as this one. Its price tag, its size, it's monumental. It's the largest archaeological museum in the world. 500,000 square meters, the size of 70 football fields. A construction project costing more than €1 billion. 5 million visitors are expected each year. Its sustainable design cuts energy use by 60% and saves 1/3 of the water, thanks to climate-adapted architecture and a reflective roof. Inside, 100,000 artifacts tell 7,000 years of Egyptian history, and just as many await restoration. Visitors can explore 12 vast galleries, organized by period and theme. And coming soon, the room everyone is waiting for, the complete treasure of Tutankhamun. 5,000 objects brought together for the first time ever under one roof. King Tut is the most famous symbol of ancient Egypt. His tomb was discovered intact just over 100 years ago, and it unlocked an entire chapter of Egyptian history. In November 1922, in the Valley of the Kings near Luxor in Egypt, after years of searching, a team led by English archaeologist Howard Carter discovered the nearly intact tomb of the boy pharaoh, Tutankhamun. Hidden away for over 3,000 years, it was a time capsule of unimaginable beauty, mystery, and history. A boy who ruled for just under a decade became in death the most iconic symbol of an entire civilization. His golden mask stands as the most famous artifact from ancient Egypt. The Tutankhamun galleries remain closed for the moment, but when they open, they'll offer an unprecedented opportunity to experience the story of King Tut as never before.
More than 5,000 artifacts will be under one roof, with a bit different story about the king. Not only the golden king and the amazing and outstanding mask and so on and so forth. No, we will try to change the story just to engage people to know more about Tut. For instance, not only the discovery of his tomb, his daily life, what he was doing in his life, to present him as a human being. This is one of the best statues here in this gallery, and at the same time, the story behind the woman, the story behind this historical figure is very different and very interesting. Hatshepsut is one of the most powerful women ever in the history of humanity, who changed a lot about politics, about diplomacy, about economics, about the relation between countries.
For centuries, Egyptology has been dominated by the Western world. How is the museum reclaiming its history?
Egypt's history and Egyptology, for years, it was like a Western science, and it was dominated by the West. Now, Egyptians are very involved in Egyptology, not only as scholars, but in every single detail, from the excavation to the conservation. We have here the Conservation Center. We have now more than 120 conservators who are on an international level of knowledge and of practice and so on and so forth. So now we can teach this to others.
The museum isn't just about showing off treasures. Just next door is a high-tech research center where experts restore and study ancient discoveries. One of the most mind-blowing rooms I've ever walked into. Never before filmed by the media, here teams work on coffins dating back thousands of years. This is one of 19 restoration labs.
Dr. Jalen Mahmoud, tell me what you're working on. Where does this date from?
This comes from our excavation from 2020. We start with cleaning this, the original color on coffin.
Okay, so these colors have been conserved for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So this was one of 200 coffins found 5 years ago. It's going to be seen for the first time in the museum.
Yeah.
A new generation of Egyptian scientists who are both guardians and transmitters of a millennia-old heritage.
Tell us one thing you want visitors to take away, because there are so many things to see here, but one message for visitors who come here to the museum.
The message is not only related to the gem, the message is related to Egypt. Egypt, by this museum, is saying we were great in the past and we're continuing to do this in the future. It's not a political message, it's a reality.
This museum is Egypt's bold statement to the world. A landmark built to revive tourism, boost the economy, and reclaim Egypt's place as a cultural superpower after years of turmoil. It's where the wonders of ancient civilizations meet the ambitions of a new era.